What's up? Welcome back. Today Rockstar has just tweeted about new things coming to Red Dead Online. Finally! Rockstar, we're crying. No one is playing your game anymore, please. I'm Bandit Barney, bringing you everything you need to know about Red Dead 2 and Red Dead Online. Thank you for joining us today, and we're gonna go over what they've released, the news they're giving us about what's gonna come in the update. One thing to point out before we talk about that is that all the stuff they talk about in the update, great, but they also say in like the first paragraph of their update that they have all other things, more content that they're gonna talk about next week for us, and that's a little bit like, I wonder why. I wonder why it is that they're gonna talk next week and they're not gonna tell us everything that's coming in right now. As well as, so today is the 12th, and they're saying that this update's gonna drop on the 26th, which isn't unusual for a developer to talk about an update that's coming to the game, but this is the first time that Rockstar has given us a date for an update that's over a week out. Just some things to keep in mind, but let's dive into it. And I think one of the best places for us to start here is the player visibility, because this is something that we've had some conversation around on the channel as well as in the community. When Rockstar announced, maybe it was about a month ago or maybe 3 weeks, I don't know. Time just flies by, man. That they were gonna do some changes to player blips, and so this is what they're talking about here: player visibility. And their goal behind this is to minimize certain types of destructive player behavior. In order to do this, what they're doing is you won't be able to see players unless they're within 150 meters of you, and then if players are traditionally more aggressive or they do certain destructive types of behavior, then their player blip will rotate between being blue and then being dark red, and they will also appear a little bit farther away. One of the big questions that we've had around this though, about around player blips, is if player blips don't show up unless I'm within 150 meters, how am I gonna know where's a good place to go hunting? Because right now we look at the map and we say, okay, I'll go here because there's not a lot of people here. I'll go here. You don't want to go hunting where a posse already is. All the animals that you're going to want to get, the high priority ones, the birds, the deers and other things like that, are all going to be shot. Well, how are we going to deal with that? So I think this is a problem that we haven't heard Rockstar talk about. They're talking about the fix, which is, a help to this griefing issue, and they're talking about a fix for that. But they haven't really mentioned about the foreseeable problem, which is, well, when we do that, how are we going to know where to hunt? So we'll see how that works out. Maybe that's something that we're just going to have to deal with for a little while Rockstar takes into consideration how big of a deal it is and then ultimately puts a patch in for it later. The player visibility is a huge thing, right? That was a big chunk of their update, and it looks like it's been a big focus of theirs as far as the community feedback with the griefing goes. So as well as changing those player blips, they're also working on fixing it so that you don't lose all of your pelts and your carcasses when you're hunting and you get griefed. Their specific line regarding the pelts and carcasses: while fixes to horse cargo are numerous and ongoing, we plan to introduce some improvements to making pelts and carcasses more persistent after death or respawning. This makes me wonder if you'll only keep your carcasses and pelts if you're either griefed by a player and not when you're killed by an NPC. It leaves some room in the air because it's more persistent, but you don't keep them, it's just more persistent. So first off, it's not persistent at all. Right now when you die, you lose that stuff off your horse because most of the time your horse despawns and you need to spawn it back in. So being more persistent, it could mean a lot of things. It could mean a lot of things. My guess is that it means that you won't keep those pelts and carcasses for every type of death, but for some types of death, for example, getting griefed, you'll keep that stuff. I'm not sure what more persistent means, but that's their wording. So, we'll see where that goes. Some other things that they're doing to help on the side of griefers is that if you're griefed by one member of a posse, then you'll be able to parlay with the entire posse, whereas right now one member is not the whole posse. So this will be nice. It'll help solo players from getting beat up by posses if they can parlay with one member and that results in a parlay with the whole posse, because otherwise you have a 4-man posse, you have to get killed 3 times by a single player before you can parlay. That's 12 deaths before you can parlay. So this is a nice change, and it's gonna help the solo players out there. I don't see there being any downside to this change. Give players a chance. If they don't want to fight other players, they don't have to, right? So I think this is a good idea. They're also revamping that parlay and feuding system to make it more entertainable. I think, like, make it something more that we're gonna actually enjoy, and I think just make it easier to access in a bigger part of the game. One note is the weapon balances. So this is something kind of new from them, is that they're going to be working on weapon balances, and specifically the varmint rifle is mentioned here. They want to rebalance it so that it's not as accurate as it is right now. I know the varmint rifle is a big choice of a lot of players because it is so accurate and it gets those one-shot headshots. I know also a lot of players that are level 48 and above are resorting to having that hat perk where you can't get single shot headshot. So I think it's needed. I don't think a 22 caliber rifle should be the main choice of PvP play in the game. I think that's a little bit off, but not a super big change in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Let me know down below. I don't know what other weapon balances they're gonna do because they don't bring on anything, but they just say that they're gonna take the varmint rifle and bring it more in line with long arm rifle accuracy. So it'll probably just be a little bit less accurate than it is right now. Right now it is like the go-to accurate weapon. So that'll be nice. Then we have the other really fun big change, and this is going to be a cool one. If you kill other players, you can actually get the cops on you. When this update drops, when you kill other players, you'll be able to get the cops on you, because killing other players will result in an even heavier bounty than if you kill an NPC. As of right now in game, if I was to go online, if I kill an NPC, I can get the bounty on me, or the law on me, but other players won't result in me getting the law on me. This is going to change, which will be nice because it's going to push those butcher campers away from the butchers. So if you have someone just camping your butcher, they're not going to be able to wait there and shoot players because the law will get on them. And you can't evade the law just by killing them. You're going to have to run away from them. This is going to be really nice. And the way the way that this is worded in their update is that if your bounty exceeds a certain threshold, bounty hunters will take notice. You will be wanted dead and alerted to their pursuit. The higher your bounty, the greater your value, and the more difficult the pursuit becomes for you and your posse. I think this is something that's super needed. So not only getting a bounty for killing other players, but on top of that, it sounds like the law is going to be harder to evade. I don't know how, but the law is so easy to evade in Red Dead Online. So easy. You just ride your horse for 15 seconds one direction. And so it literally plays like zero. The only thing that the law does right now in game is makes it so you can earn a lot of XP quickly. That's the only thing. They really play no other role because they're so easy to get away from. This is going to be really nice. Hopefully it's something where, like, okay, you actually have to spend a few minutes to deal with the law when you get them on you. Because I know in GTA, you had the helicopters above you and they're flying around, and it wasn't so easy as just going down the street, taking a right, and getting behind a rock, which is how easy it is in Red Dead Online. In GTA, it was much more difficult. I hope that's the direction that they're planning on going with this, in a direction where if you're griefing, if you're doing things, especially around a city where people will notice you, the law is going to get attracted to you, and you will spend a few minutes to do that. So there's a little bit of a consequence to that negative, griefing activity. Then we have daily challenges coming to the game. These are a lot of things that they talked about previously that now we have a date. Rockstar, thank you so much. I know it's giving hope to us as players that we know, okay, there's something in the future. There finally is something in the future. So these daily challenges look like things that are going to be like collecting herbs, getting certain pelts, and you're gonna earn gold nuggets and XP for it, selling items at the fence, so possibly having to go hunt those gangs and get certain jewelries, clearing hideouts, winning feuds, and so much more, in their words. So it looks like these daily challenges are going to be literally put around every aspect of the game right now, which I think is huge. There definitely needs to be something to add a little bit more weight and make these things more enjoyable. I know, like, clearing a hideout right now is literally, it's fun because you get to use the game mechanics in a unique way, hunting down the NPCs, but it's useless most of the time. Like, 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's just useless. Like, you get 150 experience from clearing it, however much experience you get from killing each gang member, and then you get nothing, pretty much. I mean, maybe some tonics. So getting something around that is going to be really, really nice. Looking forward to that. So a lot of good stuff all in all around this. They did say that they're going to wait till next week to release more information about extra content coming in update. Now, I think this is going to be more storyline content. I think this is going to be something big, something that they haven't mentioned yet. And the reason for me thinking that is something I've talked about on the channel before, is that a bunch of new games are being released. It's that time of season, and if Rockstar wants to keep players in Red Dead Online, they need to make Red Dead Online fun. It's not right now. They need to make it fun and enjoyable and add replayability to it. So they're gonna be working on doing that, and I think that's what next week's announcement is. I think they're waiting to put that announcement out, maybe because they're announcing this 2 weeks before, and pretty much everything that they've talked about in here, minus a few tinkers here and there, differences here and there, is something that they've talked about in a previous update where they said coming soon, but now we have an actual date. And I think next week we're going to hear more about things that they haven't mentioned yet, some more story to the online and things of that nature. Now it's hard to tell. I don't think it's going to be anything like a heist. I don't think it's going to be anything that big. It would be awesome if it was that big, but I think it's just going to be some storyline things and nothing as big as, you know, a heist or wagons, or you know what, maybe it could be wagons, maybe it could be property. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell where they're going right now. I think they're probably going to try and add to the core of the game, which is those story missions. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you for stopping by. If you're not subbed to the channel, make sure to do that. I appreciate you, and until next time, we'll catch you later.